Well, these lads are going at it non-stop, aren't they? We're back for more Dumu versus Anatan here. I had to check in on this. French have been buffed. Is it going to be enough? Now, French actually found themselves in an interesting place, actually. Some quirky changes to the late game, but especially a notable change to the early game. Because of the change they made, the French TC now produces 1 second quicker in the Dark Age, which is on average giving you 0.6 villages more when you tech up. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I have a more important question to decide whether it's worth it. Is it the top half of the villager or the bottom half? Jokes aside, it's a pretty significant buff to your income at an early phase of the game. That could lead to a slightly quicker tech up timing and maybe a faster night timing of about like 6 to 7 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot. But when you think about the impact that first night can have, it's definitely going to be something that could pay off here. Especially on a map like Cliffside that is notable for being so short of a distance between the two players' bases here. I imagine that has to be the goal for Dimmu. I don't think you play multi-TC here, because if you play multi-TC, the Byzantines can actually mirror it, or they can go for fast castle, and either one is a big edge here. And yeah, we should check in on the spawns, because this is kind of disgusting, right? Berries, gold retracted like this, triple tree line as well. This is a very defendable area. Does need to be a little bit careful the forward tree line up against Lombos, because I think this is the type of game where Anatan should be leaning Lombos. In this matchup, it just makes a lot of sense. You have really strong spearmen to deal with the Cav and the Limitane. You have these choke points to utilize the Longbows with, and you have a short distance to your opponent's base to pressure early on with. And to be honest, the alternatives, I don't think they're much more lucrative. Javelins could be potentially useful because you can actually get your hands on the camels, which in this matchup isn't terrible. Oh, sorry, you were talking about Anatan spawn. No, Dimmu is going to be on the French, the Français. Anatan is going to be on the Byzantines. I mean, they both got good spawns. Obviously, Anatan's benefits him more because he's playing Byzantines and berries plus gold is disgusting like this. But I think both players got pretty damn good spawns, except if Dimmu was considering double TC. That might be difficult to fight for, but I'm not convinced you played 2 TC in this matchup. Like, it's been a while since it's in French, so maybe there's an innovation I just haven't seen, but I think it's just too punishable with the Byzantine timings. I mean, we've even seen games where you try to play 2 TC and they just mirror, and they still look better, and oh my god. You know, it's an Anatan game. We're on a map where the trade posts aren't close, so it had to be something else, didn't it? We've got Imperial Hippodrome on the way. Okay. So we're not going to have to deal with Lombos if we're Dimmu in this game. That has to be a really big relief. Horsemen did get buffed, but I don't know if the buff was that good. I was watching Faye earlier, and she sounded completely underwhelmed with the buff to the range. Like, it barely made a difference. So I'm curious if we're going to see the impact here. Because in theory, if it did make even kind of a half a Sipahi worth of difference, the amount of horsemen fighting in these melee clashes should be superior. And that should allow, with the damage buff, a kind of overrun effect, a stack overflow effect between the horsemen versus the French knights. Damn, we have got though. Is he creeping out for the intrigue post now? Because I'm wondering, like, if there's any player in the world, what you guys need to realize, I can count on one hand the number of players that use the neutral trade post. I've counted to 1. It is this guy right here. Anachad is coming in with a neutral trade post play, and it's going to be French Knights. Okay, this is sick, man. So for those that actually haven't seen Anachad in action using the trade post, all you need to do is go watch his competitive series versus Vortex and Master of Realms to get an idea. Anatan is the only player I see that is able to consistently make neutral trade post play work. Usually it's due to Sipahi, but with this Hippodrome build, it's going to be all about the Knights. So tech up's coming through. Both immediately queue up the cavalry. And I believe Dimmu did see that, right? The scout should have been running by, so he should know about the neutral trade post play. In fact, if he runs the knight up there straight away, he might be able to punish this, because look at the timing for Anatan. He may have made a mistake. He doesn't have the wood. So the timing on this trade post is going to be really off in a way that one knight could easily immediately intercept, but it looks like instead Dimmu is heading for the main base. Okay, this has got me questioning now, right? Looking at the scouting rotation, it's feasible that Dimmu just about barely missed the villager walking out here. And that would have been big because Anatan, a little bit of a blunder, right? Gathering on the deer and then walking back home. Lost a lot of additional time here. But still, no one can stop the Belarusian when he wants to go trading. Merc House now on the way. And remember, guys, this is going to pump out the French Knights 50% faster. That's the effect you get from building them on the neutral trade posts. Damn, what a cool build. In the meantime, Ben, has he been able to find a target here? Horseman is going to be there to block him out. Notice that Anatan has not added in any extra cavalry units just yet. System is going to go up. Needs to daisy chain those, but needs extra buildings to do so. Remember, guys, this is going to be a very disgusting timing. 53 seconds to get 2 knights out. You're basically mirroring the timing of the French knights. They have now been queued up. We are officially underway. And Ben, dude, he seems none the wiser. We just watched him get surprised in an HRE game. I wonder if we're going to see the same here in a Byzantine game. Could this be Dumu's true weakness, the Roman Empires? Horsemen now coming out. A perfect blocker for the scout. Remember, they move quicker, so they can hunt down. It's important that Dumu doesn't lose his scout, right? When you're playing Ford like this, you're very blind and very at risk with expensive units. Nice counter-snipe there. Anatan, I'm not sure what the thought process was there. Just maybe a miss micro. Looked like he was selecting the Horseman to pull away, but not the scouts, so let's throw that one away. Can easily replace. He has got the Hippodrome, but it's still going to be 70 food down the drain. Meanwhile, it's now going to be 2 knights on the up in a flank position here. Ben not aware, and check this as well. This is wild. He's adding in archers, which would make sense if this was a regular matchup, because Anatan would have to add in spears to contest the knights. This is anything but. Knights now marching around the back. Remember, he has got the same damage buffs, so as soon as you charge in, it's going to be a 2-hit kill on a villager. But Ben seems to be aware that something's not right here. Playing against a Hippodrome player, he's anticipating a strike. He's got 2 knights in reserve, ready to push this away. Might see them a little bit late, though. Could be a charge-in attempt. Drags them round, beautifully done. And Anatan will circle around the other side, gets the strike in. 1 villager down, we'll look for the second. Not quite able to find it. So a lot of damage actually taken there as well, by the way. He has got the Hippodrome effect to offset this with the Triumph. But that means he's going to have to save the Knights, right? One of these guys can't realistically dive in again. It would be too risky. And so far, he has got those tickets pumping up, so we're not throwing it away. It's very important here. Remember, this takes a very long time to reboom after you activate it. It takes a ridiculous, actually, 30 seconds to get each charge that will only last a mere 1. Right? It's not that impressive from that perspective. In the late game, sure. Like, this is the weird thing with Hippodrome the more I think about it. It's like, if you read Hippodrome on paper, it sounds broken. When you play it in action, it doesn't feel broken unless you can bait a ridiculous fight, which is very difficult when your opponent is playing cavalry. What is good for Anatan in this game is his opponent's also playing archers. So if you time the fight right, there's no getting away, Ben's going to lose too much. The weird thing is, like, in theory, if Hippodrome ever makes it into the hyper late game, it could be busted because of how regularly you're going to generate those charges. Remember, it's either every 30 seconds or per kill. In the late game, a lot of units die. Well, Archer's getting added in. And he did force the Limitane reaction, so kind of interesting there that Anatan was feeling threatened. I mean, he hadn't been gathering extra olive oil, right? Without the Grand Winery, he wasn't getting as much impact, so wasn't looking to prime additional knights behind this. Has started to get some map control and has shifted out now, though. And that's the real reason for the Limitane, right? It's like, realistically, you can't plant into berry batches without them. And Dumu has gone pretty hard on archers, so his Knight Mass isn't overwhelming, right? If he wants to try and raid that eco line, it's going to cost him too many knights in return. What is Ben's timing here? I'm trying to figure out what his win condition is, right? It has to be in feudal. If both sides rush Castle Age from this type of position, you've basically got archers to upgrade, your opponent will start pumping Varangian. Right? It's kind of different if you play into mass French Knights, because then you have this really powerful front line to kind of wallop with. And then you also get a lot of value out of the tech up, because you'll have Cantor saddles as well as potential Royal Bloodlines if you want to go for the Guildhall. The Royal Institute over the Guildhall. But that's not the way Ben's trailing at all. Like, he's training towards mass archers, and that does ring of a feudal all-in. One that might get overwhelmed here. Remember, as these horsemen mass up, The DPS value of Hippodrome increases. Nice snipe on one of the knights there. Big mistake being made. No one being targeted down. Just trying to get rid of the premium units, but needs a Horseman. Can ride in deeper. We'll start to heal onto the eco as well. A little bit of leak over here. And Knight's a little bit slow to respond to this. Anatan gets some good picks. Not sure if he got enough out of this, though. I mean, realistically, he got, what was that? I think 2 worker kills in the end. He loses his Knights. He loses about 4 or 5 Horsemen. This is what was missing. Anatan needs to poke. He can't look for the direct engagement. The Horsemen are not OP right now, guys. And we just saw exactly how, right? Like, they still suffer from kiting. They still suffer from disengage. What really Anatan needed was enough Horsemen to go in and get past that front line, block the retreat, and punish his opponent. But unable to do so, now Dumu has some potential here. Anatan may have a bigger army, but most of it is in the Spearmen, and Archers could easily win that out. Especially now that no Triumph is there to be activated. Yeah, Anu kind of has a little bit of a sticky issue here. He's still got a decent number of Horsemen, but walls are coming up now. He's starting to run out of raid targets. As soon as I say that, though, we'll find a freebie jumping in here. It does force the garrison, but it's only a handful of Horsemen, folks. Everybody's got the +1 melee, so might be able to find a pick here or there. Credit to him, man. That's 2 extra kills on the board. Gonna be able to make it a third. Shivs are going to come out here. Now, this is one of the things I thought would make a big theoretical difference, is that you can't defend with villagers against Horsemen easily anymore, because they can essentially just disengage when you pull the knives out and waste your time. Textile's also on the way. So this is Dumu just trying to lean everything into the offensive, right? And no, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have the bonus, right? No. I had a feeling when I watched that fight. So, like, he's missing out on gold. But what he's at least doing is not being, like, damage inefficient, right? Like, think about it this way. Dumu did not get fitted level works, and with the +1 Bloomery, you kill villagers in 5 hits. It is unfortunate he's missing out on the gold, though. Like, it wouldn't matter from the kill perspective of, like, how much damage you do to a villager, unless Textiles is there, which it now is. So this would be a point where it would make a lot more sense for Anatan to go in to Explorators. But so far, he's just neglecting it. With Triumph and Maz? Yeah, but I don't think you should ever be activating Triumph to kill villagers, right? Not unless it's like 20 villagers out on berries, unguarded. You need Triumph for the fight. If you're playing like a baited build, like what Marine Lord does, where you Triumph to get attention and then you 2TC or Fast Castle, sure. But the build that Anatan's done is all about triumphing to win a fight. And this is not how you win them. Knight's getting picked again. We've got a big problem here for Anatan. His army is just inferior at this stage. I mean, like, yes, he's got a lot of Horsemen, but with the choke points around here, it's going to be difficult to overwhelm with that. I would love to see Dumu add in 2 or 3 more Knights just to make sure he's got that solid front line. Maybe don't get caught out like this. Uh-oh. Dumu, there's no way to run here. Triumph gets activated. This might be the fight that he needs. Knights are slightly out of position. Might start to leak over onto the economy as well. Frontline comes in just in the nick of time here. And it looks like once again, Anatan is going to be swatted away like a fly. Well, there was raids happening elsewhere, though. So while Dumu won the main engagement, Anatan won the raid game. We're now up to 12 worker kills. Dude, this guy's a monster. I can't believe that. I was trying to wrap my brain on what the thought process was. It genuinely looked like he got baited by thinking Horsemen just win that. Instead, it's just Anatan thinking outside of the box. He's taking the box. He's crumpling the box. He's thumping and 2D compacting the box at this point. And then he's building something away from the box. That's how out of the box he is. To put it very simply, he's the box. How long can that work? Like, Dumu, what he needs at this pacing is a way to attack. He has to realize the longer he sits here like this, the worse it gets. Especially now that he's playing more pocketed resources, a situation which, with Explorators now on the line, Anatan can easily exploit and get paydayed for. So this is getting more and more painful. Dude, this is wild. The fact that Anatan is just nowhere near running out of food as well. You need to be careful not to take these type of engagements. This is the ugly area of the map, right? This is what we kind of want from Dumu, is to take the central ramp and control the flow. Because if you're sitting here, when your opponent goes on the flank, you can just go down the center to attack. which is what he's doing now, but wait. Dumu, this might be a mistake. He realizes as well, the Knight's baited him out of position here. He's got so many chasing after 2 here. Horsemen, it's Rohirrim time. They're going to ride in. Dumu can't get away from it quick enough either. Kind of stagger formation to pull it away. Triumph is going to be activated for the dive in. Anatan really needs a line formation play here to get on top of everything. We'll continue the chase through. And Dumu, I think this is too much. It's going to work. Anatan with the breakthrough here. 24 horsemen and holding strong. And the entire Royal French army is gone. Nothing but knights left over. Oh, this is a problem, man. Anatan baited him hook, line, and sinker. That was sick. That was not a tempered reaction by Dumu. Sending 7 knights to deal with 2 is him guaranteeing kills, yes, but it's also him guaranteeing an opening here, as Anatan is able to take full control of the center of the map now. And an important timing as well, as Anatan is moving out for the deer and the boar here. Might will also find a raid, and oh my god. Is that 2 or 3? I mean, whatever it is, we're up to 18 worker kills now. Dumu running out of time. He doesn't even have enough knights here to hold the choke point. Horsemen are going to leak in, and this is how they can beat knights. Triumph once again online, just for a few seconds to guarantee the damage that gets him the win. And Dumu, at risk of being out-knighted by Anatan now, everything is gone. Anatan rising, he cannot be stopped. He is Dumu's kryptonite so far on this new patch. I mean, in fairness, he is picking the OP Roman empires, but I can't take anything away from him, guys. This was really cool to see. The Hippodrome play is really based on tempo, timing, and you really have a limited runway to make it work, but I think he played this phenomenally. There was a questionable fight over near the deer, but it wasn't questionable, right? Dumu got baited into thinking it was a good trade for him, but the reality was he got so distracted by the push-in onto the archers, he lost 5 villages at that point. It felt like the game was starting to trend against him. And Anatan never really missed a timing from there on out, understood that Dumu had to make a desperation play, and was perfectly positioned to punish it. This is why I keep marking Anatan as my player to watch for 2024. This guy is an absolute Chad. I really wouldn't be surprised if we see him go incredibly deep in Rebel Warlord.